From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Hello. You have reached the Badass Counseling Show in the lightning round of it, which means we move super lickety-split through all of your questions on all things life. Whether you are tuning in from southeastern Wisconsin, Oklahoma, or way down there in New Zealand, or with our friends over in Romania, it's great to have you here. We take on all things here, my team and I. And speaking of my team, I've got KC over in the booth, and I have Rob the Rocket sitting over here. Sophia the intern, the lovely artist, is not joining us today. Rob the Rocket, what say ye?
Feeling upbeat, confidence level high. Let's see how that goes.
I like it. You know, have you guys noticed, like in the last X number of months, Rob comes in with that high, but there's always like, well, it could go sour, not sure. But that's all right. Things are going great. I love to hear it. We're taking on folks' questions here. And first one we're starting out with is Jason asked the question. This is on TikTok. I am live right now on TikTok, on Facebook, and over on YouTube. Jason asked the question, thoughts on releasing long-held resentment? Thoughts? Yeah, do it. A. B, it feels good when it's done. C, it can feel good when you're getting it out. D, it can hurt and suck when you're getting it out. E, how do you get it out? Well, the way you let go of anything is you hold on to it for as long as you can. People will tell you, whether it's love or in this case, resentment, people will say, oh, you need to just let go. Well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, but how, right? I'd come out of my first marriage. She had left me, and it was just killing me for a couple of years. And people kept saying, Sven, you just got to let go. Well, fuck, brilliant, genius, God. But a part of me didn't want to. I still loved her and still wanted her. But I knew I was in pain. I knew at a certain point, I knew I had to let go. But no one ever says how, because no one knew. A lot of people still don't know. And what I've discovered is the best way to let go is hold on as tightly as you can. And what does that mean? Allow yourself to feel all of those feelings. Begin to write letters that you do not send to the person. What's keeping you stuck isn't the hatred and the bitterness and so forth, or just that. It's also the love, the longing, the connection. So even the resentment that you feel, Jason, there's also likely love, longing, lust, like in there. And so what I would strongly recommend you do with both the resentment and the anger and the longing and the missing the person, because otherwise the anger wouldn't just be anger unless it's, I wanted that person and I want that person potentially. So it's not just the resentment that's keeping you stuck or unable to release or fully let go of that person. So I would encourage you to begin to write the letters of the resentment, the rage, the hatred, and do it in the biggest language possible. Not just, gee, I'm somewhat upset with you. That doesn't get it out. You got to scour that fucking pan of all the grease that's gotten caked in. All right? You got to start getting in there of all the rage. I fucking hate your guts, you dumb fucking idiot, blah, 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 blah. But I also miss you and I long for you. Get in there, Jason. Get it all, brother. All the feelings, and keep doing it. Hold on to those feelings and flush and flush and flush and flush until they're gone. And the more you write those letters, the more you journal about it. Go to those places that you had in common. Allow all those feelings to come up. If she left that shirt behind that still kind of smells like her, fucking smell that shirt and journal about the feelings that it caused you to feel. Everything. You want to bring up as many of those feelings as possible and flush them out through your journaling, through your letter writing. Flush, flush, flush. And eventually, guess what? Your grip will let go effortlessly. You won't have to try to let go. You will just naturally let go. Next question. This one is from Amy, also on TikTok. And Amy says, how can you make a narcissist understand you're finally done after all the unfaithfulness? You're asking the wrong question, Amy. She says, how can you make a narcissist understand you're finally done after all the unfaithfulness? That is the absolute wrong question to ask. You want to know why? I mean, you can ask it. Ask whatever question you want, right? Because the mere fact that you want them to understand says you want something from them. You're wanting some sort of response. What the fuck do you care if they understand or not? You say you want them to understand you're finally done. If you're finally done, then fucking walk away. And I'm not saying this to scold you. I'm just saying, why do you care if they understand? that you're finally done? Why not just walk away and let that be that? No, the fact that you want them to understand you're finally done sounds more like you want it to be sort of a warning shot across the bow. And this is my last warning shot across the bow. I'm not going to warn you again. You see, I'm walking away. I'm really leaving this time. I've got my remote control and this chair. Reference the movie The Jerk.
Well
Remember?
done.
Thank you. And I'm really leaving. It's like you want him to stop you. Whereas if you really are finally done, you'd leave. You just leave. There's the mere fact that you're trying to convince him says you're wanting something from him. You're wanting them to see it and beg you to come back, which says you're not fully done yet. So what you need to be doing is exactly what Jason needed to be doing that I was just talking to with Jason. And Jason, you're welcome. I appreciate the thank you. And that is you need to be flushing out all the feelings of still wanting him because a part of you still does. Otherwise, you'd just walk away. And there's nothing wrong with still wanting someone who's been a narcissist and someone who's taken advantage of you. That's so normal to want someone who doesn't want you anymore. It's so normal. We've all fucking done it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment there. All right. But you got the feelings. And until those feelings are out of you, by flushing them out, doing your journaling, talking it out with your best friend or your favorite aunt who's such a good listener, and keep flushing it out and keep flushing it out until it's gone. Until that is gone, you are not finally done. You are still at least partly holding on. All right, go ahead, Rob.
All right, Sven, on YouTube, Erica says, I met a military man, finally safety, but scared as shit this is not real. You know me, I'm trying to not fear. The song Get in the Truck, you know. I think she's referring to Wait in the Truck by Hardy. Came out last year, in which a guy sees a woman on the side of the road, and she's got a tear on her bloodstained shirt, and she didn't have to tell him the truth. He already knew. He knew what had happened to her. He helps her out.
How the fuck do you know a song that came out last year?
Because I have the Google machine.
Wow. Erica. Okay. So you found a guy, you've met a guy, and he is seems like a good guy, but you're tentative, you're afraid. Am I reading that correctly, Rob? I don't have it in front of me. I'm taking your word for it, Rob.
Yes, absolutely.
And so you want to move forward, but you're afraid. And that is love, especially when you've been hurt in the past. It's every one of us. I think everybody on listening to the show can identify with that. What do you do when you've been hurt before?
And apparently physically, according to the lyrics of the song she referenced.
If we were to take the physically part as well, then that's double imperative. Everybody will say to you, well, you got to take it slow. Yeah, but what does that mean? What does that mean? And it's actually right, but what does it mean? It means open up a little bit and watch how they respond. Then open up a little more and watch how they respond. And when I say watch how they respond, do they open up? Do they handle you with care? Do you have the word that some people think is so stupid, safe space? And do they respond? Do they open up? Do they apologize when they've hurt your feelings? Do they forgive as quickly as you do? Do they hold you accountable when you've hurt their feelings? Okay. And the truth is you have to keep holding them accountable. You have to keep watching them until 10 years from now. And you can't stop. And then at 10 years, you have to keep watching them until 20 years. And then at 20 years, you have to keep watching them until 30 years. Because if you don't, and you let down your guard, and I'm not saying you need to always be vigilant and afraid. It's not about afraid. It's just it's monitoring any relationship you're in to make sure that this person is as invested as you are, that this person is taking as much care for the relationship itself, for you, as you are. Because if we've been hurt in the past, we tend to hold back. Or oftentimes, if we've been hurt in the past, it's because we invested so much and they invested so little. Well, how the fuck did that happen? At what point in the relationship did I keep investing when they were investing less and less? And how did I fucking miss it? Am I blaming the victim? No, for fuck's sake. Can we just get off? And I'm not saying you're doing this, Erica, but can we get off the blaming the victim? Because even if I have a victim, and I defend victims for a fucking living, right? I help them heal. And after you help them heal, what do you teach them? You teach them boundaries. Oh, so we are acknowledging that fucking 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago, I lost my boundary. I let it go. Oh, so I am fucking somewhat culpable for what fucking happened, that I didn't maintain my boundaries. So 10 years from now, yes, you're still going to have to maintain your boundaries. I'm not shouting at you, Eric. I'm just shouting at the principal. Sorry. All right. That you keep investing, that you, as you are opening, I'm watching this person. Are they opening? Because what happens is we get so wrapped up in our feelings, guys, when we're in love, don't we? And if you're in love and you're not at times getting wrapped up in your feelings, come on, you're either blocking off your feelings or you ain't in love. All right. So this is why journaling, writing letters that you don't send, is even in some ways more important when you're in love. Why? Because you're still going to feel love if you flush the feelings out. But if you get so pregnant with all those feelings of love and lust and longing, and I can't wait to see them, you get so pregnant, guess what's going to cloud your motherfucking vision? Oh, now we're getting into everybody's fucking sweet spot, right? Now we're getting into the shit where every single one of us has made those fucking mistakes, right? Where we lose accountability, to use your word there, Sean Marie, where we lose accountability to our own sense of self because we're so fucking swollen with these feelings of love and longing, right? And of course, as adults, what do? We scold kids. Oh, you're just so flush with lust. It's just puppy love. It's just, you don't know what love is. But then we do the same fucking thing. If you haven't had love in a long time, you get pregnant with all that fucking lovey-dovey feelings, and they feel good. I like lovey-dovey as much as anybody. But man, it's easy to let that shit cloud your fucking vision. So Erica, you go bit by bit, by bit. And you invest a little more, and then do they invest a little more? Do they open up a little bit more? And if they don't, you pull back a bit. Right? And are they investing at times even more than you are? Because you're basically both creating a bank account, a love bank account. Because there are going to be times when you're going through a hard time where you're going to have to make some withdrawals. There are going to be times where they have to make some withdrawals. But are the two people generally making withdrawals and deposits on a roughly equivalent basis? That's when you know you're in a good relationship. And you got to monitor that shit. You got to keep an eye on the fucking bank account, metaphorically speaking. All right, next question. Cheryl Ferris makes this comment without a question, but she says, feelings don't dictate truth. Yes and no. Yes and no. Feelings absolutely dictate truth if we allow them to sort of drive our actions. So on one hand, no, they don't, because truth is, sort of what's happening. Feelings are what's going on inside of me in response to what's happening, right? But another way to look at it is that feelings are, so they're not truth, they are truth. But I also believe that feelings, our deepest feelings, are our own GPS of who we really are. And that when we can get out all the feelings that were put inside of us, or the reaction feelings like fear, like anxiety, like longing to please, the more we get those out, we can get in tune to our own authentic self, our soul. And that's the GPS, the calling, the sense of knowing inside what feels right. Because think about it. You can have all the facts in the world. How many times have you made the decision, God, or have you said to yourself, God, I made this decision based on what these other people were saying, but I knew it didn't feel right to me. Feel? Really, feel. That's right. Even the religious folk, and I'm a former pastor many years, I'd say to people, well, how does God speak to you? Well, when things just sort of come together, or when it says this or that in the Bible, or, when the timing of things. And I said, okay, so the timing of things, or when things come together, then what? Well, then it just sort of feels right. Then I know it inside of me. Oh, so it still gets down to a feeling inside of you. Or when a verse in the Bible, you've read that verse before. Why did it speak to you this time? I don't know. It just felt right. Exactly. Everything gets mediated by what feels right inside of you. Right. All right, next question. How do we purge out the shame and rage of having been conditioned to be an extreme giver? First of all, The real issue is, first of all, have we gotten down to the real sources of being conditioned to be an extreme giver and the real message? Because back when you were a child and conditioned to be an extreme giver, you weren't thinking in language of extreme giver. All right, that's new language you picked up from my shit, right? So back when you were a child, it was something more along the lines of likely, I'm no good, or I'm not good enough, or something along those lines. And then you've got to go into, as you know, probably from the books, you got to go into how is that message conveyed, either explicitly or implicitly, who conveyed it, and what does that really mean about them? What does that really mean about their parenting of me? And what does it mean about them today? The implications of that they still haven't atoned for that or sought to, or they still believe they were a good parent. Which is worse, guys? And everybody's different. What if you had questionable parenting that you grew up in, or outright bad parenting? Which for you is worse? Their parenting, or the fact that it's not been atoned for since then, or the fact that they still believe they're good parents? Which hurts more? Which is the greater crime? So you've got that to deal with, devil blues. But then you talk about, so you've got to dig down and really sit in it and allow all those feelings up. Because it's fascinating how in this case, how do we purge out the shame, which is sort of anger at yourself, and rage, but you don't say who the rage is directed towards, if it's directed towards them or towards yourself, of having been conditioned to be an extreme giver. Now, if that rage is, if you're referring to rage directed at yourself, isn't it interesting how you've been conditioned to be something, and you're feeling these strong feelings of shame and possibly also the rage towards yourself? Isn't it interesting? I would ask you, what have you done with all the rage towards them? Is this part of your extreme giving that you're just turning on yourself, just like you've always been conditioned to fucking do? That's what I would ask you, Double Blues. But I'll play the ball as it lies. You ask, how do you flush out the feelings of shame and rage? Just like you flush out anything else, you fucking go into it. I hate myself. You start fucking journaling on that. I hate myself. Well, why do I hate myself? I hate myself because I was taught to believe that I don't have worth unless I am giving. And you go into, the obvious logic of it. Well, does a child only have worth if they are, giving? Well, I know it's not true, because then that would mean that other kids are that way. And it simply cannot be true that a child only has worth and is only lovable when they are giving. And so if it wasn't true then, it's not true now, okay? And it's allowing up all the anger, and I feel bad, and I feel embarrassed, and I feel unworthy, and I feel unloved, and I feel unloving if I am that way. And you allow all that up, and the rage, you allow up all the hate, I hate yous, and the fuck yous, and all of that. You have to, and do it in the strongest language possible. And you allow it to come up day in and day out, and you allow it to keep coming up. And flushing. It's just like anything else. It's just like love. It's like anger. It's like disappointment. It's like sadness. You allow it to keep coming, and you keep flushing. To which Tina, Be Kind, asks an ancillary question. How do you start journaling? I know it's a silly question, but is it, wait, it just jumped on me here. But is it in first person or third person? That's a great question. And I would say, whichever one you want. I write in first person, generally. But if you want to write in third person, fucking write in third person. Write in second person. Right? Fucking let all the persons out. Write in as many persons as you want. Write in animal language.
The royal we.
Write in the royal we, or we. Okay? I guess all I'm saying is write in whatever way, and feel it as you do it. Write in whatever way works. And works insofar as it makes you feel good to do it. Because this is just you. This is you talking to your best friend. Let your journal become your best friend, right? And so sometimes when I'm writing letters, if I'm writing a letter to someone in my own journaling, I'm writing directly to the person. I never give the letter to them, nothing like that. All right? I'm just writing directly to the person. In my journaling, it's like I treat it like I'm talking to my best friend. All right? And I just say whatever I want. I don't care about punctuation. I don't care about politically correct. I don't care about being anything except just whatever's flowing out of my pie hole. Okay? And play with it, because everybody has different journaling techniques, and everybody has different things they do with their journals. Some people keep their journals. Some people throw them away, burn them, whatever. It's all about the process of feeling how the process feels best for you. All right. Here's a question or a statement from someone that doesn't have a name, just an emoji with sunglasses. And the person says, I've self-improved a lot, and I miss being fat and not caring as much. You know what's interesting about that? I totally fucking get that. I totally get that. A very, very dear friend of mine, a gay man that I've known for 35 years, whatever. We went to college together. And brilliant musician, brilliant. And I love him to death. And he had to lose weight for health reasons. And he used to be probably 80 or 100 pounds more. And it's somewhat different from what you're talking about. But he had to do that for health reasons, physical health reasons. And, his emotional, mental health as well. And I said, when do you feel most powerful? Now when you shed that weight or back when you were bigger? He said, oh, Sven, that's easy. When I was bigger, I felt so powerful when I walked into a room. It's interesting to consider, isn't it, Rob?
I get it, because when I first retired from my full-time job, I had no sense of purpose. And now that I have this podcast and some other things I'm involved with, I have a sense of purpose, which is so much better. But sometimes I miss not having a sense of purpose. I had so much more free time, didn't give a shit. That had its advantages.
And you can fuck off and not care.
It wasn't the best for me, but hey, has its advantages.
Yeah. All right. So I love that comment. Thank you for that comment. That was really fascinating. And I wish I knew your name. I'd thank you. But to emoji with sunglasses, thank you.
And Sven, it's a good time right now to say a few words about Community Plus.
All right. For those of you who are not familiar with Community Plus, first of all, we have a group. For those of you looking for a group experience, we have two groups. One, on Facebook, we have the Facebook group Badass Counseling. It has, we're approaching 45,000 members. It's an unwieldy group. We have monitors and so forth, but it's a good group. It's a good group. People post things and supportive. You can post anonymously, etc. However, those wanting a more intimate experience, we have a small group that's capped at 1,000, but it's nowhere near 1,000 presently, and it's fee-based, and it's not cheap, but it gets you direct access to me twice a month. Okay? You get to ask me your questions twice a month. It also, we have free drawings every month for small group counseling with me, directly with me. Small group as in 5, 6, 8 people once a month. And we also have drawings once a month for one-on-one free counseling with me. We also have, you get access to our best do-it-yourself video courses. You also get priority pass access to come on the show and counsel with me, priority pass access to go to the head of the waiting list. If you want actual paid counseling with me, you don't have to be on the waiting list. There's all sorts of perks. It's called Community Plus. Check it out on the website, Community Plus.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
Rock and roll, hoochie coo. Rick Derringer. We're getting some work done here today and taking your questions. This is the Badass Counseling Show, lightning round. Zippity zip, bang, bang, pow. Here we go with David Baxter's question. All right, David on TikTok. He has a handsome picture there. Handsome devil you are there, David. Tiny little picture, so if I expanded it, I would assume you're just as handsome when you're big as you are when you're little. All right. We journal to dig into our past. Once I am there and feeling all the old stuff, how do I heal? Excellent question. Those of you who know how I roll, here's what happens. Imagine it this way, David. Imagine that down in a vault, you've got a vault inside of you, all right? And in that vault is all the shit in your life that you haven't wanted to feel. It's all those memories you have that have emotional charges attached to them. An emotional charge is like anger, or like when the boys back in junior high shoved you and pushed you and you couldn't get to your locker in the morning and you were always had fear going down that fucking hallway. That was me in junior high, right? The ninth graders, and I was an eighth grader, and every day I had to go back down this one hallway to get to my fucking locker. And I had fear every single fucking day. Were those guys there? All right. Anyway, and so you have these memories that have emotional charges, and they're still in that fucking vault. I don't want to feel them. I don't want to feel that shit. They feel shitty. Fuck that, right? But it's in the vault. So what digging into your past or doing this healing work, this self-work is it's opening up the vault, going in there, pulling up this file of memories. Okay, I've got the 8th grade file. I'm going to pull up this file, and it's heavy. As I pull and put that basket of files onto my lap, fuck, man, that's heavy. So I'm going to take out each file and each memory, and as I'm reading through these files, fuck, they're heavy, man. So I'm feeling the weight of it. And see, this is why people don't want to do counseling, because it's uncomfortable to feel the weight of it in my lap, of this memory with these emotional charges, and to feel it on my chest, that fucking file cabinet. It's like it's sitting on my fucking chest, man. Therapy sucks. This is uncomfortable. It hurts, man. It's scary. This blows. Well, that's because the next step is what you open with there, David. We journal. So we're not journaling just to get into the vault. We're journaling not just to bring that memory, those memories with emotional charges out and put them in our lap. We're journaling to then write about how it feels. It fucking blows anus. This hurts. I fucking hate you guys. Get the fuck away from my locker. Go fuck each other, you guys. I hate you guys. Fuck you. Why? Where are the teachers? Why are they not in this hallway? This school sucks ass. I've reported these assholes 27 fucking times. Why do I still have to deal with this bullshit? And why, by the way, have my parents not actually done something to fucking protect me? Fuck this shit. And I'm so sad. Every single day I'm sad going into school. I don't want to go to school. Fucking half the time. Like, I was sick like 28 times that year. And at least fucking 26 of those times it was because I just didn't want to go to school, because I hated going to fucking school. All of it. And I'm feeling so sad right now, and I'm actually feeling really scared. And you're journaling all this shit. You're journaling all this shit. You're journaling all this shit, and you're feeling it. And as you're journaling it, you're saying, and I feel scared right now. And I'm feeling so fucking angry right now, and I hate you guys, and I feel so sad. Mom and Dad, why didn't you help me? Why didn't you do anything? I know I was telling you not to do anything, but didn't you know any better? I wanted you to do something. You're journaling. You're flushing it all. You're flushing it all. You're flushing it all. So you're journaling not just to dig into your past, but to flush it by putting those feelings and those memories onto that paper. Maybe you're even writing a letter to those bullies that you don't send. Maybe you're writing a letter to mom and dad of 8 years old or of 14 years old, and flushing it, flushing it, flushing it. And the healing happens by giving it words. That's the healing. Naming the beast is half the problem. Giving it words. In fact, it was believed in ancient cultures and in primitive cultures that the medicine man or the wise old woman or the shaman defanged the disease by naming it. I mean, think about it. If you've got this amalgam of symptoms, hey, doc, I got this fucking rash on my ass, my gums are swollen, and, my fucking ankles are itchy. What the fuck's going on? And it's been going on for 3 weeks. Last thing I want to do is come in and see you and sit in an office and take half a day off of fucking work. But, well, here I am. And the doctor says, oh, you've got such and such fucking malady. Here, take fucking this fucking bottle of pills and get the fuck out of my office. By the way, that'll be $500. It's like, named it, done. Once we name it, it has less power over us. Once we name what's going on, it has less power over us. People, we taped an episode of the counseling show this morning. We taped an episode of the counseling show, and I had 2 women on the show. And they come on the show for me to dig down because they want me to name what's going on inside of them. Sven, I got this sort of amalgam of symptoms. What's really going on, and how do I deal with it? By naming it, by identifying it, you can literally see in counseling the light, not literally, but Oxford changed the fucking definition of literally to mean metaphorically, which is just fucking infuriates me. The fucking etymology purist in me, fucking grammarian purist in me, which I'm not fully, but anyway, you can metaphorically see the light bulb go on above someone's head in counseling when we've named what it is they're truly experiencing, or when we name what they truly went through back then, when we've drilled it down to the precise thing and put words to it. It's like, that little emoji of the head exploding? I fucking love that emoji because I see it in counseling. I see it on the show. I see it in people's comments with some of the fucking videos I do or whatever. I love that. That's when the tumblers start to fall into place, man. That's when that wrinkle in the universe just fucking evens out and everything's glass. That's why we do this shit, man. Because the more we flush it out, and the more we dig deeper in the whys and what was really going on and what's going on inside of me, the more it begins to fucking make sense, and those light bulbs go on above our head. And this is why you guys always hear me asking this phrase when I ask questions of people, and I say, if you were to put it in one sentence or less. And I've had people say to me, Sven, this is so offensive. What are you, short attention span theater? What the fuck is this? And I say, I want it in one sentence because it forces you to clarify. Because if you ask somebody, oh, what's going on inside you, or what's, how are you feeling about your divorce? Fuck, man. They'll talk in fucking paragraphs. And there's nothing wrong with that, except I'm allowing them to let there be a million issues when more often than not, it boils down to one issue or one biggest issue. And if you can address that one biggest issue, the other ones sort of fall into place. Or there's always one biggest issue that someone's fucking dealing with, man, and you fucking hammer on that one. Oh, right.
Sven, to dip into theology, which sometimes we do on this show, to name something is to have power over it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So in the Jewish tradition, God does not have a name.
Nope.
God is just known as Hashem, the name, because you cannot have power over God.
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
Brilliant. And it's interesting in that regard as well, that there are other phrases used for God when we go into Hebrew scripture. I can recall my Hebrew prof, Victor Gold, talking about some of the different names. I am what I am. What is one of them? And we used to call that Popeye theology. But then also, and a buddy of mine has this tattoo. He's a chaplain, a Navy chaplain. And I will be what I will be, which sort of states that God changes.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating, but there is no name. Right. And think about even in medicine, especially in the old days when the doctor would call you by your first name, but you still referred to the doctor as Dr. Anderson or Dr. whatever. Power. All right, next question.
Got one here on YouTube that's interesting.
Lay it on me, brother.
Jennifer says, my mother has been diagnosed with kidney failure, but she refuses to get a transplant. I think she's going to refuse dialysis. So, here's the curveball here. How do I come to terms with everything she did when I was a kid?
All right. How do I come to terms with everything she did as a kid? Because basically she's dying and she wants to die. First of all, where I thought you were going with this was I don't want her to die. And it's funny because my girlfriend actually she talks about how she didn't want her mother to die. And she says we basically kept her alive for years, even though she was ready to die after my father died. Mom was ready to die and we didn't want her to die. So we kept her alive basically against her own will. And her mother, listen to this as a brief aside, her mother died. My girlfriend's mother died standing up. No lie. Did you know this, Rob?
I did not.
Her mother died standing up and hurling blood. Graphic image. And died literally standing up. Now, that's a badass Italian woman right there, right? Bronx Italian. Wow. Anywho, so you're talking about, you're setting up the story as basically mom is dying, is going to refuse a transplant and all that. And so how do I confront all the shit that mom did and didn't do in my childhood? Basically, I'm pissed, I'm angry. And so I don't see how the two necessarily conflict. But what you're basically saying is, if she's going to die, how can I address it? Which implies either you feel like you can't go to her now, or you're not, or if I address all the shit from my childhood, I won't get my needs met from mom because she's going to die or she is dying. So either you think you need to go to her or you want to go to her and she won't be able to because she's in the process of dying, or she will be dead, so I'll never get my needs met. Or you feel bad addressing all the mom stuff from your childhood because she's dying and she's going to be dead, so I feel bad doing it. So I'll take it separately. One, if you think, and this isn't just for you now, this is for everyone. If you think you need something from your parent in order for you to heal, you are in the majority.
She says I'm in no contact with her.
But that doesn't answer the question. Are you still wanting something? Is the reason you're setting up mom's dying as somehow inhibiting your doing the healing work of addressing all the shit from your childhood. Is the reason mom's dying impacts that? Is it because you're still wanting something, even though you're in no contact? Is it because you're still wanting something, or is it because you feel bad? What does mom dying have to do with your going into the shit from her shitty momming, back when you were a child? That's what I'm trying to get at here. I want to understand. I swear to God, I want to understand. Waiting on you.
I got it. She says, I want to yell and cuss at her, but I feel guilty about it because she is sick.
There it is. So I want to finish my thought that I was going to say. Those of you that believe you need something from your parent in order for you to heal, you are in the majority, but you are wrong. You don't need anything from your parent, and that is the mistaken belief. That is why you continue to extreme give or take care of your parent, even though you're the one sibling still taking care of your parent as they're getting older, even though you're the one sibling most mistreated as a child, or you're the one still, loving your parent or whatever, even though you're not getting the love. You're still trying to get them to confirm your worth. And you believe until you get that, you cannot be free. You cannot feel loved. You cannot feel complete. You cannot begin your life. And you don't need them in order to do that. That's what all of my work is about, healing you without getting confirmation of your worth from the very people that stole your confirmation of worth. Okay. But you're talking about something different. Well, it's actually related. You feel bad expressing your rage and your anger, okay, because she's sick. They are independent of each other. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in love before? Okay, probably. And when you've been in love, have you ever been in a relationship where you've simultaneously liked a person, loved a person, but you were angry at them? Oh, come on. Now, there's not a person alive who hasn't been in a relationship where you've been angry at the person as well, right? Oh, so you had mixed feelings. Have we answered your question yet? It's just that you have very strong mixed feelings. To have mixed feelings, to have rage and hatred for your mother for what she fucking did and how she failed you as a child does not invalidate the fact that you feel connection or longing or love or whatever for her now. But isn't it? And so you can hold the two, or you can just set the love or the longing or whatever those feelings are that are causing you to feel guilt. Like you should just have nice feelings, or should set your anger aside because she's dying and sick. There's no should here. There's just you. Feel what you feel. What you can do with the love, the longing, or whatever it is just put it on a shelf for now. You can come back to that later. But isn't it fascinating that you said you've basically cut your mom out of your life, and yet you feel bad feeling the feelings of rage or anger that you feel? Isn't that fascinating? That you cut her out of your life, yet you still feel some sense of obligation to her. Ooh, now that's interesting. That's juicy. Right? So you haven't cut her out of your life. Not emotionally, you haven't. You still feel some emotional obligation to a person you've cut out of your life. Isn't that interesting? It's like you've thrown them out of the apartment and they're still collecting, or they threw you out of the apartment. You threw them out of the apartment, but they're still collecting rent or something. I don't know. But yeah, you still feel an emotional connection to your mother. And so what you do is, in your journaling or in your work with your therapist, in your writing letters to your mom, you bring up all of the mixed feelings because they are all how you feel. They're all legitimate. They're just natural responses to stimuli in your life. All feelings are innately good. They're morally neutral. They're neither good nor bad, actually. They just are your responses. Now, if you feel anger and you go punch someone in the face, well, now we affix a moral value to that, because in society, that's not okay. But you having those feelings and writing letters and journaling about it, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you bad. What she did back then was wrong. It was fucked up. And you have every right to have felt hurt by it. And by you denying those feelings because she's in a particular state now, is you saying to that 7-year-old little girl, sorry, shithead, you don't get to feel bad. Sorry, time's up. It's all about mom. It was about mom back then, and it's about mom now. Mom's sick now, so you don't get to have your feelings. Well, that's a fine how do you do. Mom's still running the show. You continue to invalidate yourself based on how mom feels, except back then, mom was invalidating you. Now you're invalidating your feelings based on mom. She's still running the show when she's not even fucking trying.
To which Jennifer says, I love her, but I don't like her.
Yeah, great. And that's how many people getting a divorce or who have just come through a divorce think the exact same fucking thing. You know, I still love my ex, but I'm not in love, or I don't like them. Yeah, that's very common. And so you got to flush out that fucking love, and you got to flush out all the fucking rage. And until you do both, you ain't never going to be free, whether she's living or dead. People who say, oh, when I can't wait till my parent dies because then I can finally be free of all this shit. Yeah, okay. No, you won't. No, you won't. All right, get on that there, young lady. All right, next one. Chris on TikTok says, what are your thoughts on people equivocating their personal opinions with emotions and feelings? I like big words, but that's a lot of big words in one sentence, and I'm trying to understand. I'm not real bright, Chris, so let me just sort of poke at it here. What are your thoughts on people equivocating? So basically hedging, lying, fudging their personal opinions with emotions or feelings. So sort of like saying, you know, I'm giving an opinion, but I'm supercharging it with feelings. Am I reading you right on that one, Chris? And well, I mean, if somebody's passionate about something, surely there's nothing wrong. But if they're using that as the emotion as a way to manipulate you, Chris follows up. Good, Chris. That paints a better portrait for me. Chris follows up with, quote, and he's giving an example of what the person does. He writes, quote, in quote marks, I just feel like we should paint the room green. It's how I feel. Okay, well, first of all, when it comes to creative matters are feelings and so on and so forth. And that's fine. The truth is, Chris, if we're being really honest, a person can express themselves however they want to express themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. However, where it can become manipulative is if that person then basically sells that as, because it's a feeling, it's of more worth than what you think. That once, and that's really what you're saying, that if I state it as a feeling, it's more important than what you say and what you can do. And I really don't like giving tactical advice like this. I'm not a big fan of tactics, but I mean, if you want, you can say, I really feel like blue feels right to me. I mean, you can just play the same fucking game. But there's something inside of you though, Chris, that not only feels manipulated by that, but there's something inside of you that actually believes it's true. Or there's something inside of you that is acquiescing whether you believe it's true or not. Why is her saying that or him saying that to you sort of hitting you in such a way that you are backing down? Because you wouldn't be posting it up here unless that had some sort of effect on you. So why is it having that effect on you would be my follow-up question. All right. And then Chris says, all right, last statement here from Chris. Chris says, I agree with your take. It's like it puts a shield around the statement that it can't be wrong. It only puts a shield around that statement if you allow it, Chris, because you can respond with, I understand that's how you feel. And I'm sort of feeling strongly about this, about my opinion here. I'm feeling strongly about how I'm looking at it. Now, the thing you need to do for integrity's sake, if you want to operate with integrity, is, am I feeling strongly with something because it's a fuck you to her or him, whoever you're in conversation with? Or is it because I'm genuinely feeling strongly about it? In other words, am I doing it just because I'm so sick of your bullshit of couching everything as a feeling and making it all this fucking manipulative shit? Or is it because I actually do feel strongly? I actually do really want blue. And you don't even have to say it as a feeling. Just say, you know what, honestly, hun, I really want blue. In fact, I want coral. No, I want Swedish flag blue. I love the Swedes so much. I want Swedish flag blue. You know, whatever. But no, the sticking point, Chris, is inside of you. You are allowing it to put a shield around that statement. It's like for you, there's something there, and you got to just allow yourself to say, no, it's not there for me. You're allowing yourself to be manipulated by that versus just saying, okay, you feel that way, and that's okay. And this is how I feel. This is what I think. And one person's opinion or feeling doesn't automatically outweigh the others. It just doesn't, especially if you're in an equitable relationship. So what you are fundamentally stating is we are not in an equitable relationship, and you seem to be okay with that, but you're not okay with that because you don't like how it feels. And so then you can say that. I don't like how this feels. And you need to have that conversation. I don't like how it feels that there seems to be this shield around every time you say, I feel X, Y, or Z. But most importantly, in your own counseling or in your own journaling, you need to go into why. What happens inside of you? Some sort of fear happens inside of you, Chris, when this person talks about how something feels, states an opinion as a feeling. You need to go inside of you and really look at what's going on inside of you, because there's some sort of fear operating. And naming the beast is half the problem. That empowers you. Chris follows up. Great point. Love the point about personal integrity and personal responsibility. Thanks, man. And with that, tell me I'm an idiot. That's okay too. Rob, any final thoughts?
You, sir, are not an idiot.
Well, actually, I am. I just hide it well, or partly well.
Quite the professional. Usually what you say is true, so...
I actually had a counseling client. I took him on the road because I was driving down to Raleigh last week, and I said, listen, I'll take you, man, but I'm driving that day, so it's going to be a phone one. And I actually do some of my best work when I'm by phone, especially when I'm driving, weird as that sounds. He says, yeah, I'll take you. If I can get an hour, a couple hours with you, great. And then he said, Sven, I have one last question. I know we've gone over time, but I have one last question. I said, what? He said, you always say you're an idiot. And why do you do that? He said, because it caused me to distrust some of the stuff you say. I said, well, that's okay. You should distrust it. You should always question it and so on and so forth. He said, but why do you do it? I said, I guess maybe because, my dad used to say that his favorite comedian was Bob Hope. And I said, why, Dad? And he said, because Bob Hope can poke fun at himself. And and especially being a large guy, I have to be self-deprecating, especially in person, because when you're large, people easily get intimidated. So if you can poke fun at yourself, it disarms people and they realize, hey, white man come in peace, sort of thing.
I find it helps me in my online dating.
Really?
When people comment, it's so refreshing to see a self-effacing man.
Well, exactly. When you got so many, what do they call it nowadays? Bro culture or macho or whatever out there. It's just like, oh, fuck, this is so easy. All I got to do is just poke fun at myself. I have no problems doing that. Fuck, I had 5 older siblings, 4 of them brothers. I can take a punch.
Easy for me to be self-deprecating.
Yeah, me too. Exactly. All right, so we are done here. On behalf of the team, thank you so much for tuning into the Badass Counseling Show Lightning Round. On behalf of Rob the Rocket, KC in the booth, and Sophia the artist, have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by 2-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.